Welcome to season 4 of the To Health With That podcast, where we break up big health topics into small bites. I'm your host, naturopathic Dr. Amy Neuzil, and this season we'll dive into something we are all familiar with: fatigue. What is it? Why does it happen? Most importantly, how can we fix it outside of this? Coffee. Also, you can enjoy the video version of this podcast on YouTube. The channel is at To Health With That. Can't wait to see you there.
This week, let's talk about healing your adrenals. I'll talk about healing your adrenals from phase 2 adrenal fatigue, which I call tired but wired, or phase 3 adrenal fatigue, which I call burning down. Once your adrenals are actually in phase 4, burned out, you will probably need to work with a practitioner who uses glandulars or hormones or cortisol replacement to restore the normal cortisol curve. Now let's talk supplements. So your adrenals have specific nutritional needs, just like the rest of you. Also, there's a few tricks that you can use to help your body balance cortisol more effectively. Remember that doing the supplements without making lifestyle changes will just make the inevitable collapse of your adrenals take longer and cost more. Vitamin C. Vitamin C is actually bioconcentrated in your adrenal tissue. And so adding a little bit of extra vitamin C can help to nourish and support your adrenal glands. And that can be in the form of food sources or supplement sources. I'm not writing mega doses here, just some extra. Magnesium. So magnesium is absolutely vital for many processes that are important to proper adrenal function, and extra magnesium during times of fatigue is really important. Magnesium cannot be absorbed in large doses, so divided doses of no more than 500 milligrams of elemental magnesium at a time are best. Also, magnesium is limited by bowel tolerance. It's an osmotic laxative if you get too much in one dose. So again, smaller doses spread through the day. Magnesium is also physically and mentally relaxing, so very many people take their biggest dose at the end of the day before bed just to help with sleep. B vitamins. So this includes niacin, pantothenic acid, B6, and B12. But B vitamins work as a family, so I always suggest either a good multivitamin or a B complex rather than trying to take them individually. Melatonin. So melatonin at bedtime, even if you don't notice sleep effects, can help to lower nighttime cortisol because they kind of on a teeter-totter, right? When cortisol is high, melatonin is naturally pushed lower. And when melatonin is high, cortisol is naturally pushed lower. So this is a bit of a biohack to start to lower that nighttime cortisol. Now, the biggest category of things that are helpful here are called adaptogens. Adaptogens are a class of herbal medicines that help to regulate cortisol balance by either raising or lowering cortisol in a way that's actually responsive to your body's needs. So in people where cortisol is a little bit too high, it actually lowers cortisol. And if your cortisol is a little bit too low, it raises it. That is magical, right? That is just magical, but proven by science. So woot woot, double whammy there. These herbs are generally restorative on so many levels. It's a pretty broad category. It includes things like Siberian ginseng, Panax ginseng, maca, ashwagandha, schizandra, licorice, rhodiola, astragalus, holy basil, and cordyceps. Each one has its own unique profile of actions, right? Its own sort of quality or flavor. For example, rhodiola is known as being very heating and energizing, where licorice can raise blood pressure if you tend to bottom out. So if you're a person like me who, when things are going wrong, your blood pressure goes lower rather than higher, licorice can be a good option. Holy basil is very calming and relaxing. And so if you have an anxious type of adrenal fatigue, it can be a really nice addition. Cordyceps is very immune boosting. So if you're really doing that, getting sick all the time, whatever, choose your flavor. These are often sold as blends. And I like blends because then you get sort of overlapping benefits from a few different herbs. But you can also make a custom formulation of herbal teas or experiment with different ones to see what your body likes the most, right? Because your body will have a preference here. But these adaptogens are the most important piece. So this is a great, great way to start. Fat-soluble antioxidants are also kind of the last piece of the supplement picture. And this includes things like vitamin A, vitamin E, glutathione, alpha lipoic acid, which is especially beneficial if your blood sugars have risen during this process, and melatonin. Also, just a quick note on timeline. It took you months, probably years, to get into adrenal fatigue. For most people I see, it's years of over pushing. It is not going to be a quick fix, right? This is not going to be a couple of months of self care and then you get to go back to over pushing. This is going to take you probably as long to completely resolve as it took you to completely sort of get into. So bear that in mind. Please remember, this is a general idea of how to proceed, and it does not constitute medical advice. Talk to your own doctor or healthcare team before starting anything medical. Share this with a friend if you think they may be struggling with adrenal fatigue. And thanks so much for being here today.